Just when fans thought the offseason would be quiet, an absolutely wild holiday bombshell drops out of nowhere. Behind the scenes, secret talks, surprise timing, and a jaw-dropping opportunity have insiders buzzing that a major steal could be unfolding right under everyone's nose. A respected insider has now lifted the curtain on how this move even became possible, and why rival fanbases might wake up furious. Imagine pulling off a franchise-changing acquisition when nobody is paying attention, flipping the balance of power before the new season even begins. Is this genius planning? A ruthless holiday ambush? Or the boldest off-season play in years? Stay locked in, because once you hear how close this really is, you'll realize this isn't just talk, it's a potential Christmas shocker that could change everything. Before we dive into this absolutely wild Dodgers off-season bombshell, do me a quick favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear could completely reshape the Los Angeles Dodgers and shock the entire MLB landscape this winter. This isn't just another rumor floating around the hot stove. This is one of those whispers that makes front offices nervous, fans dream big, and rival teams start watching the Dodgers a little more closely. Because according to respected insider Ken Rosenthal, there is real smoke around a Christmas-time surprise that nobody saw coming: the Dodgers potentially stealing Bo Bichette. Now let's slow this down for a second, because if you're a Dodgers fan, this idea alone probably made your jaw drop. Bo Bichette is not some fringe player. He's not a rental bench piece. He's a franchise-caliber shortstop, a proven all-star level talent, and one of the faces of the Toronto Blue Jays. The idea that the Dodgers could somehow pull off a move like this during the holidays sounds insane at first glance. But the more you dig into it, the more this starts to feel like one of those classic Andrew Friedman plays that nobody believes until it actually happens. Ken Rosenthal didn't just toss this out casually. When a name like his brings something into the conversation, the entire league listens. He hinted that the Dodgers are once again positioning themselves to strike when other teams least expect it, and Toronto may quietly be approaching a crossroads. The Blue Jays are in a strange place right now. They've got talent, they've got expectations, but they also have pressure. Pressure to win now, pressure to reset payroll decisions, and pressure to decide which stars are truly part of their long-term future. Bo Bichette's situation is especially fascinating. He's still in his prime, still producing at a high level, but contract timelines and roster balance are looming issues. Toronto has to ask itself a difficult question: do they double down and lock him in long-term, or do they explore value while his stock remains elite? That's where the Dodgers come in, because if there's one team in baseball that knows how to swoop in at exactly the right moment, it's Los Angeles. The Dodgers have quietly built a reputation for doing the unthinkable. They don't just chase stars, they identify pressure points. They watch situations develop. They wait for uncertainty. And then they strike with precision. Over the years, we've seen them land superstar talent in ways that left fans stunned and rival executives frustrated. This potential Bo Bichette move fits that exact pattern. Think about the timing. Christmas season. Front offices working behind closed doors. Fans distracted. Media focused on free agency noise. That's when blockbuster trades happen. That's when a deal slips through that nobody fully sees coming until it's done. If the Dodgers were ever going to pull off something like this, it would be during a moment like this. Now let's talk about why the Dodgers would even want Bo Bichette in the first place. This is where things get really interesting. The Dodgers are always thinking 2, 3, even 4 years ahead. They're not just looking at the next season, they're building sustained dominance. Bichette brings elite bat-to-ball skills, power, postseason potential, and an edge that plays beautifully in October. He's the type of player who doesn't shrink on big stages. He thrives in chaos, thrives in pressure, and thrives when the spotlight is brightest. Add that to a Dodgers lineup already loaded with firepower, and suddenly you're talking about something borderline unfair. Opposing pitchers would have nightmares trying to navigate that order. And defensively, Bichette gives the Dodgers flexibility. Shortstop, second base, lineup shuffling, it opens doors that most teams don't even have access to. But of course, nothing comes free. Toronto wouldn't just hand over Bo Bichette because the Dodgers asked nicely. The price would be massive. We're talking top-tier prospects, young controllable arms, maybe even MLB-ready talent. And here's where the Dodgers once again separate themselves from the rest of the league. They actually have the depth to make this kind of move without completely gutting their future. Andrew Friedman has spent years stockpiling assets for moments exactly like this. When a star becomes available, especially one with age, production, and upside, the Dodgers can outbid almost anyone without blinking. They can offer quality, quantity, or a combination of both. And that's terrifying for the rest of baseball. Ken Rosenthal's comments suggest that Toronto may at least be listening. That doesn't mean a deal is done. It doesn't mean it's inevitable. But listening is all the Dodgers need. Once a door cracks open, they push. And history tells us they don't stop pushing until something gives. What makes this even more dramatic is how fans would react on both sides. Dodgers fans would explode. Social media would melt down. Jerseys would sell out overnight. Meanwhile, Toronto fans would be stunned, angry, heartbroken, and confused all at once. That's the reality of modern baseball. Big markets move fast, and when stars move, emotions follow. And let's not ignore the psychological impact across the league. If the Dodgers pull off a Bo Bichette trade, it sends a message. A loud one. It says, we're not done. We're not satisfied. And we're not slowing down. Other contenders would immediately feel the pressure to respond. Front offices would scramble. Trade talks would intensify. The entire off-season dynamic could shift overnight. There's also the Ken Rosenthal factor here. He doesn't hype without reason. When he hints at something, it's usually because multiple executives are whispering the same thing behind the scenes. That's what makes this feel different from random fan speculation. This feels like the early stages of a real conversation that hasn't gone public yet. And let's be honest, Dodgers fans have seen this movie before. Remember when people said certain trades were impossible? Remember when experts said the Dodgers wouldn't go that far? Time and time again, those doubts have aged poorly. The front office has earned the benefit of the doubt, whether rival fans like it or not. Now imagine the narrative if this happens. Christmas week. Breaking news alert. Dodgers acquire Bo Bichette in blockbuster trade. ESPN panels scrambling. Twitter in flames. MLB Network replaying highlights on loop. That's not just a transaction, that's a moment. A defining off-season moment that gets talked about for years. Even if this deal doesn't ultimately happen, the fact that it's being discussed at this level tells you everything you need to know about where the Dodgers' mindset is. They are hunting. They are aggressive. And they are always one step ahead. So the question now becomes simple: will Toronto blink? Will the Dodgers push all their chips in? And will Ken Rosenthal's off-season bombshell turn into a Christmas miracle for Los Angeles? One thing is certain. This story is far from over. The hot stove is heating up, and the Dodgers are right at the center of it once again. If you don't want to miss a single update, rumor, or breaking move as this unfolds, make sure you're subscribed, because the next alert could change everything. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Dodgers can actually steal Bo Bichette? Would Toronto really pull the trigger? And how would this move reshape the balance of power in the MLB? Stay locked in. Because if this Christmas shocker becomes reality, you heard it here first.